Good morning, guys. It's about 5:30. I'm here getting ready for work. So this is going to be a very thrown together video. It's going to be uh, whatever. You guys are going to see me going around my house getting ready for work, whatever. Um, so today's video is kind of like a rant discussion inducing type thing. You mainly have to be able to hear me, so I'm not super worried about you guys being able to see me. If that bothers anyone watching, please let me know. But I will be sure when I'm walking around to grab my camera and take it with me. Anyway, today's video is about a topic that a lot of people I know are kind of worried about, especially the NFB crowd. Like, not necessarily the whole NFB, that's National Federation for the Blind, or of the Blind, sorry, don't kill me. Especially people who are really, really into that organization. And it's about the whole quiet car situation. And for those who aren't a part of the NFB, or may not particularly know, sorry, I'm putting my watch on, what the quiet car situation is all about, essentially, sorry, I'm making sure I'm still recording here. Yes, I am still recording. Okay. Essentially, what's going on is the NFB is going after automakers or manufacturers of hybrids because apparently they are too quiet for blind people to hear. Sorry, you knocked your harness over. They are too quiet for people to hear going down the road. Now, if this were actually the case, I would understand why the NFB is mad. But the thing about hybrid and even electric cars is they're not totally silent all the time. And even when they are, there are certain rules that you can follow to ensure, well, you don't get hit by one. And so, essentially, what I'm going to be doing in this video as I prepare mine lunch. Eden, why are you following me? Sorry, my dog is all up in my way in the kitchen. So, first thing I'm going to get started with is how to handle a situation where you think there's a car there, and there might be, but you're not sure. More likely than not, there actually is one there. You just have to know what to look for. I'm trying to talk over the bag noise here. So, what I mean by that is electric and quiet cars always make some kind of noise. Whether it be the air conditioning system running, whether it be the tire noise on the road, whether it be, I mean, anything. When they're just sitting still, they make some kind of noise unless the driver is absolutely sitting there. He doesn't have any extra systems running in his car. Anything like that. I just got a text message. I have a feeling I know who it is. Anyway. So, you just have to know what to look for. I'm going to do my best to explain to you what to look for, unfortunately, because I'm throwing this video together randomly, just because I told someone that I would do it, and I didn't do it when I said I was going to do it, because I just got tired. I'm going to try and explain it. So, essentially, for example, if a hybrid is sitting at a light and it's hot outside, more likely than not, it either A, has its windows down, or B, has the air conditioning on. And it's, gonna be more likely the latter. And when a hybrid or an electric car is running its air conditioner, stuff has to be running in that car. Fans, belts, compressors, whatever. I don't know how air conditioning units work, but I know that there are a lot of moving parts in there that make them work. So, you kind of want to look at, especially for one of the most popular hybrids, the Prius, which I've actually ridden in and been around a lot. You kind of want to look for, sorry, just making sure I'm recording again. You kind of want to look for a droney electronic whining noise, because you're going to hear all the components of the air conditioning unit. Now, if it's a cold day, there are a couple of things you can do, because more likely than not, the AC is not going to be running. But the heater in the car, in most cars, depends on the engine. So a lot of the time, you can't tell if the heat is running. But the Prius has to generate its own heat. So you can listen for that too. Personally, I don't know what the heater on a Prius sounds like. But just hear for a random sound coming from one of the lanes in front of you. If you hear it, there's most likely a vehicle there unless you can identify it as something else. That's kind of the rule I follow for any situation where I'm crossing. If I hear a sound in front of me and I can't exactly see it, and it's not moving, I know there's something there, but I know it's safe to cross because it's not moving along with the other traffic. Now, as far as, say, you crossing the... Eden, come here! Eden, come, now! Sorry about that. Now, as far as... Hey, puppy. Can you lay down for me? Come here. Lay down. 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 Good girl. Now, as far as you not hearing a hybrid if it's coasting around a corner or whatever, that goes for everybody, not just blind people. If a sighted person isn't paying attention and they're like, all right, I have the light, they don't look around the corner, and they start to cross, they're not going to hear that hybrid or electric car coming. So if it's not accelerating, it's up to the driver to be able to spot that person and A, warn them, or B, turn around them in some way. And we all know that a lot of drivers don't pay that much attention. I'm not saying everyone does not pay attention, but a lot of people don't. So getting hit by a hybrid or an electric car can happen to anyone. It's not just blind people that it happens to. So, and this is my personal opinion, I think that the NFB going to automakers and asking them to make more noise just because they don't want blind people to get hit is kind of silly. I understand that some people have different mobility skills than others. They have different situations. They've been through different situations. They may never have dealt with dealing with traffic patterns and worrying about hybrids and all that stuff. hybrids or electric cars. Electric cars aren't as popular as hybrids because they're so expensive. But anyway, as long as you know how to properly cross a street, as long as you're just a little more attentive than usual, you can most likely hear one. And even if you can't, it should be, keyword should be, following the rules and regulations and traffic patterns of all the other vehicles around it. So, as long as you listen to the other traffic patterns, or if you're not in a heavily trafficked area, if it's the only car around, you will hear it if you're paying attention. Now, if there's construction around, I understand, whatever, but if there's construction around, you probably won't be able to hear most cars unless they're huge. But if there's nothing around, if you're in a small, sleepy town or whatever, you can hear the tire noise, you can hear the air conditioner heat, you can hear the radio, if you listen, you can hear those cars sitting there. The engines aren't the only things that make noise on them. I really think that going after automakers is kind of unfair. They did not purposefully make these cars quiet. The nature of electric motors is such that they're just quiet anyway. Like, if you listen to a good fan, honestly, the only thing you can really hear is the blades pushing against the air. If you listen to, trying to think of another good example. If you've ever heard someone going past you on a Segway, you can't hear any engine noise in them because they're electric motors. Electric motors are just quiet just because they're not tiny little explosions going off in them. With internal combustion engines, the reason they make noise is because you're essentially riding the energy of a whole bunch of controlled explosions. So, if anyone who is really pushing for this gets a hold of this video, please consider what I'm saying. I'm not trying to, and this is kind of my built-in disclaimer type thing. You know, I gotta cover my butt, guys. I'm not trying to bash the NFB in any way. I think a lot of what they're doing is very admirable and very good for the blind community at large. But I think that some of the people who have been struck by quiet cars and are really pushing this, or B, are in a position of influence and are really pushing this quiet car initiative, should sit back and really, really think about it. Because while I understand some people just haven't had much experience with them, or they base their beliefs on A, what the NFB has said, or B, what someone who has been struck by or has had a hard time hearing one of these vehicles is doing or is saying, I think that if you know the right person, or you have the right training, or you seek the right training or advice, you can point these things out. I have this really horrible habit of imposing all of my experiences and training and all that stuff on other people. So before I end this video and make myself late for work, I'm also going to say that I think that there are some people who may legitimately have problems hearing quiet cars. Whether you're hard of hearing, or you're older and just haven't gone out for the training, or don't have the experience, or whatever your situation may be. The advice that I've given in this video should at least help you a little bit. Now, if you're hard of hearing, I don't know. I personally haven't had much experience with that. Personally, it amazes me how someone who can't hear or see traffic patterns crosses the street, because I've seen it happen. Um, if someone who is deaf blind gets a hold of this video, let me know how you do it, please, because I really want to know. But just keep what I've said in mind, and go easy on the auto manufacturers. They're trying to save the planet. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm off to work.